Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good afternoon everybody. It is the 2nd of April. They call it Liberation Day here in America, and we'll see how that turns out. So anyway, but it's been a good day. I hope everybody's had one. The weather's changing where I'm at, and it's getting sunny again. So I'm looking forward to summer showing up. Hey, today there's an article that came out this morning quite early. It's called "Final Budgets Return to the Front as Parliament Awaits the Arrival of the 2025 Budget Schedules." You guys remember we talked about this a lot in the last few months, specifically. And this couple articles that we're going to have just sets the stage perfectly that we've been spot on here at Militia Man and Crew. And we read the news and we analyze it the best we can, and it looks like it shows that we've been spot on, and they put it out in print, which is fascinating today. It says they talked about the final budget's return from the Ministry of Planning, announced the completion of the final account of the 2025 budget, as experts believe that the final account for the fiscal year 2024 will be the basis for approving the 2025 budget. This gentleman by the name of Salah Nuri, he explains that, I guess it's Article 13, Paragraph 3 of the Financial Management Law number 6 of 2019, so the FML. We all know about that. We should at least. It says it dealt with the case of non-approval of the draft budget according to the following text. It says that in the event that the draft federal budget law for a certain fiscal year is not approved, the final financial statements for the previous year shall be the basis for the financial statements for that particular year or this year, or whenever that might be, was submitted to the House of Representatives for the purpose of approval. But anyway, if you go back far enough in time, one of the reasons why they did this was back in 2014. That's where that amendment came into play. It says that the Nuri specifically states that the safety of the implementation of the aforementioned Article 13, the Ministry of Finance must have completed the final account for the fiscal year 2024. We did a whole study on that just recently about all the different years that they had to get final accounts up till 2024 before they can even get to the 2025 budget schedules to be exposed. And we haven't seen that to even today, but it sounds really good because they're talking about it again. It says the Ministry of Finance must have completed the final account for the fiscal year 2024, which will be the basis for approving the 2025 budget submitted to the House of Representatives. And it says back on March 26, the Ministry of Planning, Mohammed Tamim, announced the completion of the preparation of the 2025 budget tables, and they're sending to the Council of Ministers. They go to the Council of Ministers before they ever get to the Parliament. That's just the way it works. It says the Ministry of Planning stressed that the budget tables do not include the inclusion of any new projects, but include financing for ongoing projects. He goes on and says that Mr. Atwan Al-Alawi, he's the chairman of the Parliamentary Finance Committee. He says he reveals the committee pointed out that there is a clear imbalance in the estimation of non-oil revenues, and we seek through the amendment of the law of the General Authority for the Control and Allocation of Federal Imports to determine the size of investment income of state assets and other revenue outlets so that we have a clear perception during the formulation of the country's fiscal policy. Well, for 2025, they're going to need to know what the data was from those final accounts all the way up through 2024, and the non-oil revenues that include the whole country, not just part of it. It's going to be even from the Kurdistan region. That's how I see it. And now don't forget, the implications of this is talking about, they don't say it, but they're talking about the amendment from Article 12, section number 2, and paragraph C. And we know that that was already completed, and we're going to see evidence of that here shortly too. So keep it in mind, because for them to be talking about this again at this stage of the game is obviously of importance because of what we're waiting for. So it looks really good. So the government advisor, it says the 2025 budget includes significant adjustments in spending and a deficit. It says the Prime Minister's advisor, we all know him as Mohammed Saleh. He's confirmed that the general budget amendments enhance stability and support the country's urban renaissance. And that's exactly what Iraq is going to go through. They're going to rebuild the country. So it's pretty fascinating. Here he goes on and says, the financial and legal flexibility available in the federal budget law, number 13, 2023, which is a 3-year budget, the tripartite budget, in accordance again with the management law number 6 of 2019. It allowed the executive authority to proceed with the implementation of its government service program for ongoing projects without interruption and at a high level of stability. He goes on and explains that these efforts have been clearly reflected in the governance of the country, and they are witnessing continuous and organized urban renaissance. He points out that the financial tables for the year 2025 will soon be submitted to the Council of Representatives in accordance with Article 77, second of the 3-year budget law, which will include some important adjustments in spending, sources of public revenue, non-oil revenues I would take, and deficit management. He points out that these adjustments come after the Council of Representatives approval in early February of the month before last. The amendment to Article 12 of the budget law, there it is right there, related to the mechanisms for calculating the extraction of oil from the Kurdistan region in the areas of the extraction and transportation operations. So there you have it. We've been talking about that for a long time, and the Prime Minister's advisor is reiterating it again specifically. And so all of those that are watching that didn't quite get that in the past or didn't believe it, they're talking about it again. It says the financial advisor goes on and emphasizes that the financial track is proceeding regularly and effectively with high level of governance, transparency, financial integrity, thanks to close coordination between the legislative and the executive authorities. So basically they're doing exactly like they said they were going to do. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to have done. And it appears that Iraq is obviously in a position to be ready to show us the rest of the story. If you guys remember Paul Harvey, and now for the rest of the story. But anyway, this is a pretty big piece that is going to be interesting, and it's going to tie in with some other things that are happening too. But this article starts out at, one of them is in Iraq. American BlackRock, end quote, acquires ports in the Middle East. So the U.S. asset management firm BlackRock and the Italian shipping company MM&C have acquired 43 ports owned by a Hong Kong-based multinational CK Husheng Holdings in a deal that will give the U.S. asset manager control of 12 ports in the Middle East, located on strategic coasts stretching from the UAE in Oman to Iraq and Egypt. It says that the consortium of BlackRock and MM&C reached a $22.8 billion deal to acquire a total of 43 ports owned by this CK Husheng. Basically, the gentleman's about one of the richest men in the Middle East. In Asia, and he sold out. So he's an older man, sold out. That's a lot of money. So his family's probably going to do well. The deal made headlines because it would give BlackRock and MM&C control of 2 ports at each end of the Panama Canal, the strategic waterway that the United States has threatened to seize to limit China's influence in the Western Hemisphere. So that's interesting that those 2 ports were part of the deal, not to mention a major port in Iraq. It says the shipping and port sector represent another source of economic diversification for these countries. And it says the U.S.-based BlackRock and Italy's MM&C group, the 2 companies that are set to acquire 12 ports in the Middle East, describe these as these ports, and there's numerous ones, but the one I focused in on was the one dealing with Iraq, and that is in Basra. And I found a snippet in my room that I put into our Patreon and our Discord chat room. It says the major port in Basra, Iraq, is Qasr Port, which is also the country's only deepwater port. and I believe this is the one that's in Basra. I don't think they're talking about the Port-Rafidain, but regardless, it's located on the western edge of the Al-Fa Peninsula, so it's close to the Port-Rafidain. It basically says that M&C is a vital trade, Iraq's trade and imports, serving as the main entry point in the country. It goes on, it says that the M&C report offers a container, oil, gas project, general cargo handling, etc. And don't forget, though, that what they've already done and are working on is the Grand Port of Fa, which has recently received 5 new berths at the port in that same province. So, look, there's a power move by BlackRock to buy these ports, and they probably have a really good reason for it, especially into the future, is because they'll probably end up, buying it and then selling it. So we'll see how that goes. But the ultimate deal is that BlackRock acquires a port in Iraq, and that's a U.S. asset management firm, one of the largest in the United States, possibly one of the largest in the world. But anyway, it goes on that there's the General Rafidain Bank identifies the importance of the Director General, the importance of the AML system in enhancing financial transparency. So, look, the Rafidain Bank has cleaned up their act over the years, and now it looks like they've done a really good job, and they're moving forward with an anti-money laundering system. And it's for enhancing financial transparency, and I would suspect that this is going to be part of the blockchain system that we all been hearing about. We remember the digital dinar. We heard about talking about talking about spending on infrastructure projects, major ones. So you guys realize that they're going to be doing a lot of business in this country. It says that the general director of the Rafidain Bank, his name is Ali Al-Fatlawi. He highlighted that the importance of the AML system in enhancing financial transparency while pointing out the bank has important strategic steps in the field of combating money laundering and terrorist financing. The Director General of Rafidain Bank, Dr. Ali Karim Hussein, said that in light of the escalating challenges associated with financial crimes on a global level, anti-money laundering systems have become a top priority for financial institutions and governments. It says, with countries committed to implementing strict international standards in this area, Rafidain Bank stands out as a leading Iraqi financial institution that has adopted the latest monitoring and compliance system, strengthening Iraq's position in the global financial system. They've been hammering the global financial system almost for 2 years now that al-Sudani's been involved. And what we're looking at is, it looks like they're coming to a stage where they're ready to go. That's what it looks like. He points out that the anti-money laundering law, I'm thinking about today's liberation things. Never mind. But anyway, anti-money laundering system aims to prevent, analyze, and detect suspicious financial activities through mechanisms that include the KYC. Everybody knows that means know your customer. It's a verification to ensure knowledge of the true sources of funds. So that's going to be kind of interesting if these new systems, when they're talking about some of the corruption that they've been finding in around the world and in Iraq, they're finding a lot of waste and fraud. And so they're going to have a lot of people are going to be called on the carpet and high-ups in the country of Iraq. So no different than here in the United States or other places around the world. Okay, this says using modern technology and financial analysis to enhance the efficiency of detecting illegal activities. There you have it. That's basically what I just said. This gentleman emphasizes in recent years the bank has taken important strategic steps in the field of combating money laundering, terrorist financing, reflecting its firm commitment to enhancing financial transparency and achieving full regulatory compliance. It says here the daily financial transactions money monitoring system, which is the AML, is a qualitative step that Rafidain Bank announced the launch of an advanced system to monitor daily banking transactions across its branches and making it the first Iraqi bank to adopt this supervisory approach. I didn't catch that. It's a supervisory approach, so they're taking the lead. In accordance with the latest global banking technologies, and this project was implemented in partnership with specialized international institutions as it aims to analyze and track all financial transactions in real time, contributing to enhancing the level of banking security and combating any illegal attempts at money laundering. So these guys are really taking this pretty heavily and pretty seriously. And just as the global financial system has been changing quite a bit, and the new systems are going to be able to monitor large data in real time. He pointed out that the initiative confirms the Rafidain Bank is adopting a proactive approach to combating financial crimes, which strengthens its position as a trusted bank institution with Iraq, regionally and internationally. So this Al-Fatlawi, he says, Rafidain Bank's commitment to practices in combating money laundering leads to strategic outcomes that extend beyond the bank itself to encompass the Iraqi economy as a whole. So ultimately, the Rafidain Bank is ready to do global financial system work. That's basically what I'm getting from it. He states here, though, he goes on to say and says, as the digital transformation in the Iraqi banking sector continues, Rafidain Bank's experience represents a successful model of how to achieve a balance between regulatory compliance and technological development, paving the way for a more transparent and reliable banking future for both locally and, lastly, internationally. So ultimately, what is the Rafidain Bank is basically at the forefront of her banking transformation that's been helped with international institutions. She's going to be a model for people to use. She's done it successfully. This is how you do it. That's a model. So she's moving forward towards the international financial system, and she's playing by the rules. So I don't know. I think that's really big on with all the other things that we're talking about. It's important to know that the financial system that the banks are dealing with in Iraq have come this far. So again, here's another article that if you think about the BlackRock situation, getting those ports, getting a key port in Iraq, and not to mention other ones internationally. This article is betting on the Port-Rafidain. Turkey is counting on a UAE-Qatari role in Iraq. It goes on and says the development road project with Iraq, noting that Ankara is counting on financial support from the UAE and Qatar to ensure the project's success. It says the development road project, which is being implemented, so it's being implemented in cooperation with Iraq, is entering a new phase with upcoming high-level visits from the two countries. Iraq Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani is expected to visit Turkey in the coming days, could be the next few days. These visits will strengthen agreements related to the next step in financing and implementation. The development road, or the route, which aims to connect Iraq's interior regions to Europe via Turkey, is attracting the interest of multiple international entities, noting that the UAE and Qatar are expected to contribute financial support to the project while talks are underway with international financial institutions to secure further funding. So think about that, though. We're talking about the Grand Port-Rafidain, and we're talking about BlackRock getting the Boss report, one of them, I think it's Qasr, and they're talking about how much money is going to be made in all the different things. So look, BlackRock is a very large entity, and they do things to help their investors that are invested in it. And that's exactly what UAE and Qatar would do with the development road project. They're there to make money. And obviously Iraq is going to be the place to do it. So, hey, lastly, it says here that the Iraq ambassador to Ankara, it says al-Sudani will discuss development and energy issues in Turkey. Well, energy, development, trade, he's going to show up in the coming days. So this is in brief. It says the Iraqi ambassador to Ankara is Lajmawi. He said they announced Wednesday that the Prime Minister Shia al-Sudani, their upcoming visit to Turkey will be to include several issues, including development, energy, and trade, like I started off with. But it says most notably the development road project. is going to be on the table. And it says, in addition to energy, transportation, and trade. So they're obviously going to have some conversation about a few things, and I wouldn't be surprised if that energy side of it has to deal with some of the oil that's supposed to be going through Turkey and their water issues. You know, all of that, the development road project, the train through Turkey to Damascus, into Turkey, into Damascus from Iraq, it's going to be a big thing. It's going to be a big deal. And it's going to be a global event, everybody, and we're watching it happen in real time, but they're so much further advanced now than we've ever seen before. We didn't see things like this in 2016 or 2018 or even 2 years ago, but we've seen what al-Sudani has done to make it happen. And he has the support of the Grand Ayatollah Sistani, and it sounds like he's got the support of al-Sadr and those key, and that's the people. So you got to see this as for what it's worth. What it is Iraq's getting ready to join the global financial system, and we're a part of that as investors. And now that you see a company the size of BlackRock coming in and getting involved with the ports, that's American interests. There's going to be security and stability, and they've been hammering security and stability at home. They're just nonstop talking about it. Soleil's openly talking about security and stability, sustainability, all of those things. So, hey, everybody, that's what I have for you this evening. Thank you for being with us. I appreciate it. And again, of all things, hey, if you like us, hit that like button, subscribe. And again, you guys know where to find us. We have PayPal, Venmo, and Zelle. Wonderful things. And all your help has been appreciated. Thank you.
Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.